often empathy is the thing that the other person most wants. So it's a free gift.
It's something we refer to in talking about fixing things as well, that sometimes whatever a person's actually saying, and whether they're conscious of it or not, sometimes they are, sometimes they're not, what they really would love is the experience of getting to speak about what's troubling them, or sometimes even to speak about what they're excited about. This is not just about things which are troubling people, actually. Sometimes someone's really excited and they're, wanting to kind of celebrate something which is going well in their life or something like that. And we have the option of just really listening in, understanding, maybe reflecting back what we're hearing them say, that kind of thing. And this really can be, to an extent which is hard for me to convey. I think, I'm saying it, but I don't know if I can fully convey it. The extent to which this can be an incredible gift, and the way I sometimes try and convey it is by saying, you might be, when you listen in this particular way with empathy, you might be the first person who's done that for them today. You might be the first person who's done it this week or this month, and in some cases this year, and in some cases it's even longer than that. There are people who are living in families or communities or being in workplaces or whatever, and empathy is not a part of their experience, but it is something that they long for inside of themselves, even though they don't know it. Sometimes they so rarely get it, they almost don't even know what it is or something like that, that it's a possibility to just be heard for what's going on for them, be heard by someone who's actually curious and sincerely interested. Like, what's actually happening for you right now? What is it that's going on in your life, and how are you feeling about it right now? That kind of thing. Yeah, it's a profound gift, I think, and I see in workshops that I lead sometimes, we set up a little exercise. It might be 2.5 minutes of listening, it might be 7 minutes of listening or whatever, and sometimes people just at the end of that time are just blown away by the quality of experience they've had, the connection that they felt with the other person, both ways, both the one listening and the one being listened to, and they're people who've never met each other before, and they just have this. And they'll actually say sometimes, like, that's the best conversation I've had all week, and that was 7 minutes long or something like that. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, I've made some notes here on that one, and the way I was looking at it is people have an inborn need for empathy, and it's like you're saying, like, well, they might not even know it. They might not, in families, they might not have gotten all the empathy that they really want, and to have been heard the way with empathy. But just like we have hunger pangs, it seems to me that we have empathy pangs. We want to be heard with empathy. And so, in a sense, what I was hearing you say in this is that the benefit of empathy is when you give someone empathy, you're addressing their need for empathy. So their need for empathy is being met, in a sense. It's being addressed.
That's right. I would agree with that totally.
Okay, so what I've been trying to do is also connect these benefits with a feeling. So in terms of the gift of empathy, that when someone feels empathy, there's some kind of a feeling that they have. You mentioned that oh, maybe they've never been heard. They have a joy or a sorrow or whatever it is, and then they're getting the empathy. We want empathy to be heard about either of those.
Right.
That's kind of what I'm hearing. So what would be the underlying feeling? For me, there's like a frustration if I'm not being able to share, and have that sense of connection. I feel frustrated. Whereas when I do feel heard and able to share, there's kind of like a calmness and a relaxation and almost like a joy in itself of being heard.
Yeah, I mean, relaxation and joy are big features that I see happening, certainly for myself, but I see it in others. And even if someone's in a lot of despair or other kinds of pain or something, they at least, you see relaxation can still kind of happen. Like the person's just, it's a relief. It's a relief, like, oh, you get it, and oh, you're not telling me that, you're not criticizing me for how I feel, or you're not telling me that I don't need to feel this way, or that I shouldn't feel this way, or here's a way that I could cheer myself up or something, and that can just be a relief. And that's not to say that I get that a person who's in despair would probably like to not be in despair. They would probably like to be in a changed state than that. So I'm not in any way trying to stand in the way of them shifting how they're experiencing life if that's what they want. But it just means for this period of time, for this 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever, I am not trying to have them change in any way. They can be. I'm sort of, in a sense, it's a funny word, but I'm kind of allowing them to feel exactly what they're feeling. And if they're feeling despair, okay, they're feeling despair. I'm not trying to change that. I'm just willing to hang out with the person who's feeling despair, and that all on its own can then somehow facilitate them starting to feel differently or see different possibilities and so on. So yeah, there's the relief feeling, relaxation feeling to some extent, and even like another feeling component to it. This is when a person really gets heard. Sometimes it's like they can really actually allow the strength of sadness or the strength of mourning or whatever it is that they're feeling, to come through, because it becomes, the word safe is what people often say. They say, I feel safe to actually allow myself to feel what I'm feeling here. And for me, I believe that to live life as fully as one can as a human being means to allow yourself to feel whatever it is that you're feeling. Not about getting stuck in a particular place, that's not what I'm saying. But if you are feeling sad, don't fight the feeling of sadness and try to not feel sad. Actually allow yourself to feel sad. And empathy actually facilitates that in a way, And from there, the sadness might blow through like weather blows through, and a different emotion comes into its place, like some sense of possibility or curiosity or tiredness or whatever it is, but something different comes along, So empathy supports people in that movement, emotions moving.
And that's a gift then. When you offer empathy to someone, you're offering them the gift of allowing them to move through their feeling like that.
To feel it and to allow it to move. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if you're feeling so spontaneous, but I also like metaphor in terms of like. I wonder what these different metaphors are for these different benefits. Is there something that comes to mind? If not, that's fine, because I'm putting you on the spot here. But this is like, I guess almost like metaphor is a gift. Like, I suppose that empathy is a gift, is the metaphor in a sense. But is there anything else that comes to mind around that?
All I would say is that to extend the metaphor slightly, which is especially, I like this that you're asking this, because we're coming into the holiday season, which is a time of a lot of gift giving, and people struggling sometimes to find the thing to give, especially in our society where there's a lot of, material aspects to being in this society. There's a lot of options for what you can give materially, right, or in terms of experiences and so on. And given that, still, I think empathy is in short supply, really, relatively speaking. There's a lot of things you can get in life way more easily than you can get empathy still. And so I do have this sense that regardless of what's in the package that you hand to another person, something about also showing up in their presence, ready to just receive their experience of life, hear what's going on for them, and not push back and not advise and not analyze and not criticize and not all the other things like that that are possible. Is the bigger gift sometimes. It's a bigger gift than what's in the package. Your presence with them is a bigger gift probably than anything that you could put in a package for them. And I don't know that people realize that. And this is not about necessarily, obviously you can study empathy and you can become more skilled with how to do that, but really as much as anything it's about giving up for a brief period all of the other stuff that you might normally do, you know, and simply just listening and just doing your best to get it, what it is that they're telling you, what it's like for them to be them in this moment. That's a potentially enormous gift.
Yeah, I really enjoy that. Especially we're here at the holidays. This is being taped just in November before the holidays, and when we're giving the gifts, to also to think about the presence that's behind it, and that empathy can be like this gift, and is maybe the most valuable gift, one of the most valuable gifts there really is, presence and empathy.
Yeah, there's an obvious play on words there, right? It sounds the same in the way I say it, presents that I give and presents that I give.
Presents, and gifts and presents. Is the giving the presence of empathy.
Right.
I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
Thanks for pointing that out.